Happy New Year! This is Adam from Great Owl Running, and today I'm going to talk you over my goals for 2022. Enjoy! I hate vlogging in public, and I'm always going to have to. It's basically New Year's Day weekend, and there are people everywhere, and I hate bloody vlogging in public. But anyway, welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2022. So the last goals video you saw was my goals for 2020 video. That went tits up pretty quickly, didn't it? That went tits up pretty quickly. We had a pandemic. Didn't expect that, and I don't think anyone else did. But I'm going to go over, I'm going to reflect on the last 2 years, very briefly, very briefly, and see if we reached any of the goals from 2020, and then stick them in 2021 as well. Forgot my notes, didn't I? So I'm filming this on a different day. So I'm going to head over to the canal, which is a stone's throw from my new flat, and go over 2020 goals and review them very briefly. Don't worry, very briefly. Number one was run 2,400 kilometers, 1,500 miles. In 2020 I reached that with ice. In 2020 I reached that with about 3 weeks to spare, and managed another 100k, so I've rounded it up to 2,500k. Fell short a bit in 2021 with 2,250. Again, didn't have any goals for 2021 with the pandemic going on and things. I didn't really have anything, but I'm still pretty pleased. It's a second best year in 2021, so best year 2020, second best year 2021. Didn't fall short of any previous years, so I'm quite happy with that as well. Hello, is that better? Number two was to climb 65,000 meters in 2020. Fell short of that. Big reason for that was no racing, no fell racing, less fell running, a lot felt less fell running. And in 2021 we did do a bit more fell running, but I'm back at work, and yeah, I fell short both years. Did about 50 in 2020 and about 40 in 2021 thousand. So number three was to get out of debt. Tick. I managed to get out of debt by September 2020 with a debt management plan. Very chuffed with that, very happy with that. That had been lingering in the background of my life for at least, I think it was 17 years. 2003 I've been in debt since 2003 to 2020. Yeah, 17 years. So now I'm debt free. Don't feel any richer, but it's just a load off my mind. It's a load off my mind. Hello. How's that? That's better. The next two are kind of somewhat the same, based on what we had to deal with, but number 4 was collaborate, and number 5 was use the channel for the forces of good. Now, collaboration came in the form of getting involved in loads of lockdown challenges, starting lockdown challenges and joining other people's lockdown challenges, and just having an online community of people dealing with the pandemic together. I think I can say that's a tick for both of those. And if we jump to, there's another one to jump to here as well. Yeah, number 9 was take part in fun challenges. I took part in loads of fun challenges. They weren't like group challenges, they weren't group things, they were just virtual challenges, they were lockdown challenges. I played running Monopoly, for God's sakes, in 2020. like all sorts of weird shit that I never would have done had we not had a lockdown. So I'm going to turn around now. Number six was to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Don't care. Didn't get that, and I really don't care. I don't really know how I put it in. It's not really why I do things. I want things to be organic all the time. Yeah, I mean, I've made less films. It's all relative to the amount of films you produce. I'm not salty. It sounds like I'm being salty now, but I'm not. I just couldn't give a shit. I don't really know where I was at when I put that in there. I thought it would give me a drive to push the channel further in that sort of way, but I think an organic way is much better. Organic way. Number 7 was to build a base of fitness. I ran plenty in 2020. I did let it go in 2021. My race results in the latter half of 2021 after lockdowns have all been worse, but I think I'm going to allow that for myself because there was no park run, which kind of leads into another point later. Number 8 was to come up with a new race. Obviously I had plans to release some new races in 2020. Nothing happened, but obviously we had the Virtual, we had the GPX Grand Prix, which is basically the rock bed, the soil for any future Great Owl running events, testing them out. So I can say I've got about 21 potential races coming up with Great Owl running. What we got here? Number 10 was to make the Kirkstall Carverley Cutter a success. The Kirkstall Carverley Cutter, like this year coming up, takes place in January. Now, the lockdown didn't come till March, so we managed to do that. So at least managed to put on one race in 2020. Number 11 was a 5k PB. No chance. I've slowed down in 2021 and I didn't quite manage it in 2020. Park run, no park run, you got no chance, or at least I haven't. I love park run. I'm so glad it's back. No 5k PB for me. I didn't really even get close. We'll talk about that later. The last one was to go on more club runs. That's another fail really. I didn't really get a chance to go on many club runs. I suppose club runs were cancelled for the vast majority of 2020, but when it came back again, I didn't really go. Anyway, that's a strange way to end that, but we're looking forwards now. We're looking forwards. That was 2020 and 2021 in a nutshell. Back to 2022. I quite like the format I created for the goals for 2020. So we're going to do something similar this year. So I've got 6 goals for the year and then 4 goals to round it up to 10 for the season, being winter, which being, if you separate it to 3 months each, that'll be January, February and March. At the end of the March there's going to be a new video. There is going to be another video where I reflect on those 4 goals and see if I've managed them, and if I haven't, it's going to carry over into the next season and I have more goals to round it up to 10. I think it's a good little system, and also, like, this year all my goals are somewhat impermeable to outside interference. Somewhat. I mean, one of them isn't, but most of them are. Pandemic proof essentially. So number one is to run 2,500 kilometers. 2,500 kilometers, which is what I set out to beat in 2021. Yeah, I think it's a fairly realistic goal. 2,500k. It should be about 50k a week. I'm going under a bridge now. Number two, I'm reading this now, Avoid injury by normalising strength training, cross training, and generally eating well. I'm putting eating well inside the same goal because it's all related. That's the point. I was going to make it a separate thing, but why would I do that? Here he is again. What are you doing here? Previous goals, previous years have always been like, do a bit of cross training, that's one of my goals, blah, blah, blah. And I just need to associate that. I need to normalize it, because what I've done in previous, I've tried to enhance my running by doing strength training, cross training, things like that, and it's always been secondary, and it's definitely a primary thing. And normalization is probably the easiest way of just saying, make it normal, make it obvious that it's part of my week, just incorporate it to my week. Previously I've been doing some yoga, but actually back end of this last year, 2021, I did join a gym, which I started going to roughly once a week. I'd go once a week, hammer it out, feel like crap for 4 days, and then want to feel good again and wait for the next week. And I think I did I had like three weeks off at one point as well. I'd like to just get up to twice a week, if that could be like a start, and then I'll check in with you in March and I'll tell you how that's going. But yeah, that's a goal. Should we do a little flyby? Do a little flyby on here. It's a classic. Number 3 is to raise 2022 for charity. 2022 pounds, as in 2,222. In the past, before the pandemic, Great Old Running races raised a lot of money for charity. I think it's well over £2,000. I'm going to incorporate a charity donation into all of my races for this year, and try and do a little bit on top of that here and there with like big races, personal goals, and encourage others to involve charity or fundraising when they enter our races, and try and normalize the charity aspect of the races. I think what a lot of regular runners are quite guilty of, maybe not a guilty thing, but like a lot of runners will just run 10 plus races a year, and they just enter them and they just do them. They're cheap and they just do it. Whereas a lot of beginner runners will do their first marathon, for instance, and then they'll raise loads and loads of money for charity, which is obviously amazing. And of course, like when that becomes a bit more regular, you know, those people, those contacts kind of clear up a little bit. And you know, if you're asking all the time, I guess it's harder to raise money for charity. If I try and normalise that a bit in the way I run the business, that can be a really good thing. So this will happen. 2,022 pounds, maybe 2,222. How about that? That can be a stretch goal. But anyway, easy enough. We raised £7 already on Kirks of Carfley Cutter from the first 30 entrants, so we can do it. I just need to push, marketing wise, just push it a little bit more. And I've got my charity pot on the website. I'd like to keep track of that, and whenever it's going up, I'll keep track of it. You can keep track on that on greatowl.com. Look for the charity pot tab. Right, we're going up here now. Number 4, make more films. Been a bit slack with the filmmaking in the last 2 years. Obviously started this channel running ultra races and vlogging them, then did a few like little docu fly on the wall type runs with races and all sorts of other things, fun little challenges like some of the lurgy challenges we had last year and the last 2 years, I suppose, and then some more instructional videos for the GPX Grand Prix. Make more films is number 4. Just go back to what it was like a bit before, get a few more films made. Yeah, I'm sick of the excuses. There's a lot of films on a backlog that I filmed in the last 2 years but never edited, whether it was a crisis of confidence or something, or just not enough time. But I'm going up a hill, can't you tell? Just want to get more films out there more regularly. Number 5, try new stuff. The running world's full of different stuff. You've got obstacle course racing, you've got triathlons, you've got mountain marathons, you've got orienteering. There's road, there's fell, there's trail. And I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried sky running, I've tried fell running, I've tried ultra running. Not spent much time on a track. There's a few things coming up this year that I've got my eye on. I'm going to keep this goal as try new things, keep it quite open-ended. Just realised I'm now climbing a big hill, so I'm going to run to the top of that hill and then we'll carry on from there, eh? So final year goal is big projects. So pick a few big projects, make a plan, stick to the plan. A friend of mine told me that like 100 miler, for instance, I'm not going to do a 100 mile this year, just putting that out there. A big race should be treated like a pregnancy. So you've got a certain amount of months to train for it. You need to focus purely on that. I'm borderline ADHD. I enter loads and loads of races and I go gung-ho in all of them. I think it'd be better if I had a big project in mind and then to treat those other races like training runs or B races, I guess, maybe. I do like to run fast, and I think running fast is fun and it's good to train, but like to rag yourself and go a race on a race that isn't an A race when you've got an A race the following week or the following 2 weeks, it's not a good idea really, and I've fallen victim to that a few times. So number 6, the final goal, big projects, make a plan, stick to the plan. This is going to be difficult for me. It goes against my my natural mentality for a lot of stuff, but it's a bad habit and I want to kick that bad habit. So while I've got some of this winter sun, I'm going to tell you about some of these winter goals. Winter goal number 1 is to return to a consistent sub 21 5k time. 5ks aren't hard to come by. We've got parkrun once a week and I've been really engaged with parkrun since it came back in July. The sun's behind me, so I'm gonna have to do that. Back in July and August, I was managing to get back down to a sort of a fairly consistent sub 21 time, but recently, this is really slippery, could go down here. Recently I've kind of fallen to above 22, so I've got 3 months to train really. I just want to get maybe 4 or 5 sub 21 5ks, just feeling good. And I don't mean racing as fast as I can, I just mean getting to a consistent normality of sub 21. If you've got anything in mind for yourself, let me know in the comments. I know this is personal to me, but you can alter this goal to your own ideals, or your own ideal time. It's something I believe I can do, and I'm looking forward to just getting a little bit faster in the spring, ready for the end of March and the beginning of April, when I can start getting outside a bit with more light in the day. I just can't wait, just can't wait. But it's time to work this winter, it's time to work. Hey, oi. Number 8 is to announce the full calendar of Great Owl Races 2022. So when you announce a race, you obviously want the most amount of lead time for people to enter the race. I just want to get that whole calendar sorted out. This is a January goal, if I'm honest. We've got the Kirkstall Carveley Cutter coming up on the 29th of January. By then, the whole calendar for the whole year, bar a few that might be conjured up later in the year, will be announced. GreatOwl.com, that's where all my races are, that's where everything is. Springy boy! Flyby!
Right, I was a bit of an idiot here and I forgot to introduce this one. It's number 9 and it's work on my backlog of films.
We've got like a few trips into the Peak District. We've got the Spine Sprint. We've got Ennerdale Fell Race from June last year. We've got some Munros. We've got Munro Quest on the way. We've got some of the GPX Grand Prix race instructional videos that should have been out way long ago. And we've got, what else we got here? I've written it down. What's that say? Oh yeah, I've got a few trips to the lakes we did as well. Anyway, I've got a huge backlog of films, unfortunately. I think I'll take this winter to try and get on top of that. Because that backlog of films has been eating away at me. I've lost a bit of confidence in my editing skills, because when you don't do something for a while, you just sort of lose confidence in it, or I do at least. And I need to work on that, and that's another personal thing for me, really. So while we've got this lovely light, shining on my balding head, I can tell you about the final goal, the final winter goal, number 10. Now, you wouldn't have heard that. That's because it's top secret. Well, you will. You'll find out. You'll find out in March whether that top secret goal has been achieved or not. That's my 10 goals for 2022. I'll see you at the end of March, where we'll go over the winter goals and we'll have a little update. See you soon. Bloody hell, look at it. Time for a beer, maybe. Whoa! Shit. Maybe not time for a beer. Maybe not time for a beer.